First, we invoke the supramental light. Om Taksaviturvaram Rupam Jyoti Parasya Dhimahim Yannaha Satyena Dhipaye. Om Taksaviturvaram Rupam Jyoti Parasya Dhimahim Yannaha Satyena Dhipaye. Om Tatsaviturvaram Rupam Jyoti Parasya Dhimahim Yannaha Satyena Dhipaye. Synthesis of Yoga. Daily reading. Today, the 10th December 2025 by Sri Aurobindo. The introduction, the conditions of synthesis. Chapter 2, Life and Yoga. So now we are starting the chapter 2, Life and Yoga. We recognize then in the past development of yoga a specializing and separative tendency which, like all things in nature, had its justifying and even imperative utility, and we seek a synthesis of a specialized aim and methods which have, in consequence, come into being. But in order that we may be wisely guided in our effort, we must know first the general principle and purpose underlying this separative impulse, and next the particular utilities upon which method of each school of yoga is founded. For the general principle, we must integrate the universal working of nature herself, recognizing in her no merely specious and elusive activity of distorting Maya, but the cosmic energy and a working of God Himself in His universal being, formulating and inspired by a vast and infinite and yet a minutely selective wisdom. So the Upanishad say Prajna plus the Purani, the Upanishad, wisdom that went forth from the eternal since the beginning. So today, this is today's paragraph. Now we will try to understand what Sri Aurobindo is trying to say through this paragraph. Sri Aurobindo says, when we look at the history of the yoga, we notice that each school focused on one particular path, one aspect of the human nature. For example, Jnana Yoga focusing on the intellect, Bhakti Yoga focusing on the emotion, Karma Yoga is focusing on the action, Hatha Yoga is focusing on the prana and the physical body, Raja Yoga is focusing on the mind and the subtle senses. So this creates a separation between different yogic methods. But this separation was not a mistake. Nature used this specialization as a useful and necessary step. So now the modern age, we must move toward a synthesis, a union of all these specialized methods into one integrated path. So the thing is, these specialized separate methods are not the error. Actually, that is the process of the nature. So we got the fine-tuned methods for each and every element of human nature. Now we need to synthesize. So Sri Aurobindo prepares us to the central idea of his entire work, that means integral yoga, the synthesizing the whole yogic methods. He shows that the specialization was needed in the past for a deep mastery, but now human evolution demands a wider and more unified approach that embraces the mind, heart, body, soul, and the spirit in a single moment. Okay, so this is a very important point. So in the old days, one specialized. If you see the science, evolution of the science also same way, right? So the pure science focus on specializing on the separate things, okay, physics, chemistry, and biology, right? So, and one specialized area, okay, specialized area. Now we need the integrated science, applied science, right? So everything you need to put together and try to understand the whole nature of the universe. So in the same way, the yoga also needed the synthesize and integrating to understand the mind, heart, life, body, soul, and the spirit in a single moment. So this is what he tried to say in first sentences and introducing his idea of integrated. So the second sentence is, in order to create this synthesis correctly, we must understand why was yoga divided in the first place? Okay. What principle of human evolution caused this separation? Right? What is the unique strength and unity of each yoga school, each method, the Bhakti, Jnana, Karma, Raja, and Hatha, right, has a specific psychological and spiritual value. Okay. So when these separate yoga practice, there are so many things into that, right? The emotion, the bhakti is focusing on the emotion. There is a danger of the bhakti also, Sri Aurobindo highlighting in Letters of Yoga to the students. So it can be when it practiced in an impure form, it can create so many psychological conflict within you. Right? The bhakti also can harm. The same way the Raja Yoga, right? If without appropriate purification, if you practice too much of Raja Yoga, then the mind will get stressed. Okay, too much of concentration also not good, right? So therefore, we have to understand what is the specific psychological and spiritual value in each yoga, and take that and integrating into the whole synthesis. So that's the idea. So Sri Aurobindo emphasizes that synthesis is not mixing, okay, just taking everything and mixing. Okay, it is understanding the essence of each method and integrating them harmoniously to push our evolution fast. Okay, so we must not reject the specialized yoga. We must understand them and bring them together for the higher unity. Okay, so that's the idea he's presenting in the second sentences. To understand the principle of yogic specialization and how to synthesize it, we must study nature herself. Sri Aurobindo reject the idea that nature is merely a Maya. Okay, so in Shankaradvaita, nature is Maya, illusion. But here, nature is Shakti of divine. So here, Sri Aurobindo is accepting and taking the concept of the Tantra, right? The Shakti is not Maya, she is the divine, and the whole nature is the Shakti. The energy of God working through the cosmos. The Shakti is the energy of the God which work in the cosmos. And also the guided by the infinite wisdom. So nature has the infinite wisdom that is both vast and precise. Okay. So that's a very important part. When we think about the nature, it is not just something what do you call it, have everything, vast and precise, minutely selective. That what we could try to say here by the vast and the precise, it minutely selective according to her plan. Okay. So he called the Upanishad word Prajna Prasapta Purani, the ancient wisdom that proceeds from the eternal. Okay, the Purani. All the wisdoms are coming out of the old ancient wisdoms are come out from the eternal. So here he lay the foundation of the integral yoga in this paragraph. Nature is not an obstacle or Maya. She is a divine in action. Every movement of nature, including the separative yogas, come from the higher wisdom. Higher wisdom. Understanding nature's working is essential for the understanding of yoga, synthesizing the yoga. So thus synthesize become a process or align with the original divine intention behind the nature's evolution. So that's the idea Sri Aurobindo proposing and start arguing in this paragraph. Okay. Now we will move to the Tamil. Om Tassa Vidulbharam Rupam Jyoti Parasya Dhimahim Yennaha Suttena Dhipahi. Om Tassa Vidulbharam Rupam Jyoti Parasya Dhimahim Satyena Dhipahi. அருளோடு செல்வம் ஞானம் ஆற்றலும் அன்பும் பண்பும் பொருள்நலம் பொறுமை பொரும்பிடச் செய்வாயம் ஆயுளாரோக்கியம் வீரம் அசைந்திடாமப்பி என்பும் பேயுரா செல்வம் கீர்த்தி தேவியே அருளாயம்மாம். ஓம் சாந்தி சாந்தி சாந்தி. பெண்ணாடேஸ்வனே போற்றி, எந்நாட்டவர்க்கும் விரைவா போற்றி, இன்பமே சூழ்கம் எல்லோரும் வாழ்க.